What's up, guys? We are back with the third video for what your squad leader wants you to know prior to attending your first Milsim West event. The first episode we talked about movement formations, when we use them, what they are, hand and arm signals. The second we talked about the actual fight, how we react to contact, how we conduct intentional attacks, and how we bound through enemy fire to take ground and suppress and destroy enemy. In this video, we are going to discuss what I'm going to refer to as patrol-based operations, why we have a patrol base, what it is, when we use it, what we do while we're in it, and some of the common questions I get about some of those things. Again, I like to volunteer to provide squad level leadership for the solos and duos who come to Milsim West that aren't coming as a part of a team. So it's 12, 13 people who never met each other, most of which have never been in the military. If they were, most of them not infantry. And so a lot of this stuff is either completely foreign or at a minimum, we're all pretty rusty on it. Um, so with that, we will jump into patrol base operations. And we are going to be back here with our handy dandy Ranger Handbook. What we're looking at here is actually the ORP. So this is in Chapter 7 in the Patrolling chapter of the Ranger Handbook. I like this diagram better than the actual patrol-based diagram. And realistically, the only difference between a patrol base and a objective rally point is phrasing. A patrol base is something that you intend to use as a base and that you intend to conduct as a base of operations for your patrols, hence patrol base. Your objective rally point is basically the same thing, except you are on a patrol and you are at a rally point just prior to the objective. It's your last rally point before you move into the objective. So you set up security in the same way that you would set up a patrol base, for all intents and purposes anyways. So I like this diagram. I think it does a better job of explaining, you've got a squad here, squad here, squad here, and you are making a triangle to have 360-degree security. 360-degree security 360-degree security is something that you will hear frequently. Basically that means that we want guns pointing in all the directions around us, right? We want to secure this whole area so that nobody can sneak up on us from any direction. 360-degree security. So if you hear somebody saying, "Hey, pull security, let's get security," look around, find somewhere that somebody's not pulling security, and go pull security in that direction to make sure that we don't get snuck up on. Important. So the patrol base provides 360-degree security and allows us a secure area for which to conduct operations out of, as opposed to an ORP, which is something that provides 360-degree security whilst on patrol just prior to the objective. So, long story short, basically the same thing. So let's get to more of my fantastic paint drawings. Actually, I think I've got, yep, go with this one. Alright, so let's drop in our triangle. Ta-da, and rotate you. Cool. So as you saw in that previous diagram, each leg of the triangle is going to be occupied by a squad. Squad integrity, team integrity, just generally speaking, your whatever unit integrity, meaning you stick with your level of unit, is very important. For accountability purposes, we really don't want to lose people. In the military, huge deal if you lose somebody. In Milsim West, it's a big deal. They'll look for you, but ultimately, yeah, you're a grown adult. Please don't get lost in the woods. Okay. So, anyways, we're gonna keep squad integrity. We'll keep team integrity. So essentially, what you're gonna have is right, a team occupies, from here to here, and then Bravo team occupies there. Second squad Alpha team, second squad Bravo team, third squad Alpha team, third squad Bravo team, right? That's basically how this kind of rolls out, right? So I'm just gonna A. Ooh, too many A's, right? Alpha team, Bravo. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, like this per se, but we want to keep team integrity. So when you get to the patrol base, um, stay with your team. Okay. Find your team leader, stick with the team leader. Team leader, find your squad leader, stick with the squad leader. Squad leader, stick with the platoon. Easy peasy, right? Use chain of command to keep accountability. Anywho, so patrol base. We have found patrol base, and this is where we're going to be. The way that this should work is we occupy. So this is the, let me get this back. Right, this is your 2 o'clock, this is your 10 o'clock, and this is your 6. Okay, so when we get to the patrol base, we are always going to approach it from 6 o'clock. This should be the only entrance and exit from the patrol base. In practice at Milsim West, it's not going to happen, but in theory, that's how it should work. So we should occupy from the 6, and the whole platoon is going to walk along this leg from the 6 to the 2. While doing that, first squad, Alpha and Bravo team are going to get in place and cover their sectors of fire, right? Then, second squad is going to walk this way and then walk along this line. And they are going to in place and get their sectors of fire. And third squad, same thing, right? Place your teams, establish sectors of fire. In theory, you should have machine guns that on all corners. Milsim West, does that happen that much? Should. But there's a question of, do we have enough machine guns in the platoon to really do this? If we do, this is great. The reason that we do these, let me switch colors here. The reason that we do a triangle as opposed to a circle is for what we call final protective fire. So we have a machine gun on each corner. So if you're getting overrun, dudes are getting wiped, the machine gunner can turn and provide final protective fires. Basically, he's going to traverse all the way to the left and fire out in front of the squad to his left or right. Yeah, it's leader's decision, right? But that's got to be pre-planned. So you can provide these final protective fires. So any forces that are any forces that are approaching you from any direction, right? This is all about we're getting overrun, are going to be blocked by the final protective fires. So, right, can't get in because these machine guns are waylaying right here in front. That's the concept, anyways. The big thing to take away from this is we're in a triangle. You, as an individual rifleman, will be a part of this long leg, right? Your team leader, you and your team will occupy half of the leg, and your team leader will help make sure that you guys are in place and have overlapping sectors of fire with the adjacent units. That's the big thing. Just we're in a triangle. We're in a big triangle. You're a part of that triangle. Oop, that's an arrow. Wanted my entrance and exit right from the 6 o'clock. That's the basics. It's a real quick 10-minute down and dirty explanation of why a patrol base exists and how we occupy it and why it's a triangle and not a circle. So what we do in a patrol base. First and foremost, we're pulling security. Milsim West, we have far less security than we do in real life, but somebody always needs to be up. Probably at least like one person per team at a minimum. Uh, up, watching out, and that's because if you're not pulling security, you'll come off the line to do a lot of things like sleep or eat. You don't want to be sleeping in your fighting positions. We're going to pull off the line to sleep and eat and go back to the line to pull security. That's just because if you're eating or sleeping, you're not in a fighting stance, right? And it's just not a good day if the enemy is coming and you're sitting there, cooking your ramen noodles in your fighting position. You want your ramen noodles to be safe after the fight, keep them back here, and you don't want to get whacked in your sleeping bag. So let these guys alert you in your sleeping bag back here to then come up and join the fight. But security, number one. Number two, prepare for the next mission, right? So you're reloading on ammo, water, whatever. We're getting ready for the next fight. We've got security. We're ready for the next fight. Then we start talking rest plans, chow, water, or, you should be drinking water, but chow and rest plans and stuff like that. Priorities of work gets way deeper. We can talk about like actually digging in and stuff like that. My experience, really don't have time. We don't do a lot of digging in, but you can building fortifying your positions. And if you do fortify your positions, it can make getting attacked go much better than just laying behind a tree. Fortify it. It's BB Wars. You don't need a whole lot. Um, so that's kind of what we do, right? The patrol base is there to have a base where we can operate out of, right? So there is some rest and stuff like that and resupply that we do. The other thing, and it's something that I get questions on every event and a lot of questions about it, is challenge and pass. See my scratch work over there. I prepared for this one. Actually, I recorded the whole video on mute, and that was great. So this is actually the second time I'm recording this. So challenge and password. Get questions on this. What is it? How do I use it? So we'll go over that. The challenge and pass, these two are kind of together. So what you're going to see at Milsim West is somebody's pulling guard and there's a unknown individual who is now approaching this guard station, right? Trying to get into the patrol base. This guard is going to wait till the approaching person is in a fortuitous position, and he's just going to yell the word map. Now that's not how this is supposed to be done. You should be using the word in a sentence. So you could say, show me your map. Do you have a map? What headset turning off on me for fun. Show me your map. What color is your map? How big is your map? But throw other words in there so that if somebody else hears it, so if either A is an enemy, they've now heard the challenge password, right? If you just say map, oh, I don't know the password, but I know the challenge now, anyways, and I'm gonna go the other way. And we respawn, so now everybody knows it on the enemy side. So you want to kind of like conceal it as best you can, and depending on what the challenge word is, maybe that's easier or harder. Either way, but what you'll hear at Milsim West very likely is just somebody yelling the word map. They're going to yell the challenge at you, map, and you respond with password concealed in a sentence. Be like, yo, my map is green, right? Or I'm green on ammo, or I don't know, these leaves are green. Right? Use the word in a sentence. But what you're going to hear, and what you're going to hear a lot of at Milsim West, is people not using this properly, and they're going to hear just challenges map, and then you're going to hear the guy go green, and so every enemy who might have overheard that now knows our challenge password, which is great. Not, but that's kind of what you can expect. Don't be that guy, right? Use it in a sentence. Do it properly. Running password. So running password is you and your buddy were out here pulling an observation post, and the entire Rust 4 company is now coming at you, and you're like, haha, yeah, nah, bro, I'm out. So you're now hightailing it out of your observation post, and you're running towards the patrol base because you're in duress, and you don't have time to let them stop you. Halt, advance to be recognized, present your map. These leaves are green. Right, you don't have time for that. They're in hot pursuit. You're hightailing it. So as you're running and you get within earshot of the patrol base, you're going to be yelling the running password followed by the number of people who are running with you. So if you're the number one man, right, and you know that there's just the two of you, you're going to be running in yelling Ranger 2, Ranger 2, Ranger 2. You're saying Ranger, They know, all right, well, that's the running password. Two, I'm going to count in two people. I'm going to let two people into the patrol base, and then everybody else behind them is getting whacked. Right? So you and your buddy made it in. One, two. The Russians now heard you saying, you know, Ranger, Ranger, Ranger. So they're screaming Ranger, Ranger, Ranger as they're running up. But this guard's already counted in two. So he's going to just whack this guy, right? And everybody else that follows. So this is one of these things where it's like it's important for leaders to have accountability. This is one of the reasons that it's important for leaders to have accountability and know how many people they've got. Because if you and your squad are running away, how many people do I have in my squad? Well, I've got 13, including me. So I'm running in yelling Ranger 13 to get back into the patrol base, and hopefully the guy pulling guard can count to 13. Number combination. So challenge and password. These challenge and password are used behind friendly lines. So we've got, it's called the FLOT, forward line of own troops, and so behind it, where you would like have like a patrol base or a company assembly area, something like that, you'll use this challenge and password. When you're forward of friendly lines, you're probably trying to be sneaky, right? You're out on patrol, and you run across some other dudes, and you're like, well, those guys also look like they're on a patrol, but I wasn't aware that they were out here. Or maybe you're doing a link up, right, with friendly units, so you're expecting friendly units or something along those lines, right? Either way, the people you see, you're not sure who they are, and you want to present them with a challenge, but you also know you're within earshot of a potential enemy, and you don't want to just be like, map, and then have them fuck your mom from the other side, something like that. So what you want is to do something a little stealthy. So we have the number combination, so it doesn't require words. The number combination should be presented with either like a clicking device um, or flashes of infrared light. I've also known people to present luminescent tape. This is kind of back before like everybody had nods. You could flash luminescent tape. But whatever you're doing, the way that the number combination is used is the challenge is presented as any number lower than 7. So it could be 3 flashes of light, right? It could be 3 clicks. It could be 4 clicks, 5 clicks. Could be 6, probably shouldn't be 6, but could be. As long as it's any number less than 7, because the response, the password, is going to be the corresponding number that sums to 7. So if I'm the challenger and I present 3 flashes of light, what I'm looking for in response is 4 flashes of light because 3 plus 4 is 7. I can present 2 flashes of light, and I expect 5 back. That's how this should be used. It's how it's used when you're on patrol forward friendly lines. What you will see and hear a lot at Milsim West is people just yelling 3 and somebody going 4 because they don't remember the challenge and password, so they're just screaming out the number combination, which is even worse because you can't conceal that, right? You're just yelling 3 and 4, and if the enemy hears it, like, oh, cool, well, their password is 7, and so we really, really don't want that. But that's kind of what you'll see. But that's also there's the information on how it's supposed to be. I bring it up in this video because largely you'll use the challenge and password at some point where you've established a patrol base or some type of like you are in a static security position. You're either at an ORP, patrol base, something, and somebody's approaching your position. That's largely where you're going to see the challenge password. Again, really people should be using the one entrance and exit point of the patrol base. It's not going to happen. People are going to be walking out, taking a leak, getting lost. I'm going to go this way to take a leak, and then I'm somehow going to end up coming back in the patrol base over here, or something silly like that. And of course, if you're given the wrong password or no password at all, wax them, right? But that's how all of this is used. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover, and talking about patrol base operations. Again, this could go way, 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 way deeper, right? But this is just to get everybody level set on basic operations, so there's not to reduce the amount of confusion in the first night. We don't even know each other's names and faces yet. and we're all trying to do this highly orchestrated thing. You at least know what the orchestrated thing looks like, so you can hopefully at least make some semblance of it. So, hope this is helpful. Stay tuned for a video 4.